Once we come out of the multi-port valve, we're going to come to your salt cell if you have this as a sanitizer. What we're looking for here is all green lights on the cell. Each one of these is listed out and described here, but the first one we see is the salt level lights. The ideal salt level is 3,600 parts per million. You can see that this one we have a green good light, so that means the salt is above 2,800 and below 4,500. Once it hits 4,500 or higher, this green light is going to flash. Once it hits 2,800 or lower, the red low light is going to come on, and that's when it'll be time to add salt. After that, we have cold water. In the winter, this is going to be the only light that'll be illuminated on your salt cell. What it means is that the water temperature in the pool is dropped below 52 degrees, and the salt cell shuts off and goes into kind of an economy, energy-saving mode. Once the water is that cold, it's hard for algae and phosphates, things like that, to grow and thrive in the pool, so we don't need as much chlorine. Once the water temperature comes up past 52 degrees, the cell is going to turn back on automatically on its own. After that, we have the cell light. This light will be illuminated when the cell is producing chlorine. So sometimes this light will be on and sometimes it won't. In other cases, this cell light might be flashing, and that means that it's time to inspect the cell. The manufacturer recommended cleaning interval is acid clean every 3 months. What you'll do is undo the unions on the cell after turning off the system, and this entire cell comes out of the plumbing. You'll take a bucket with some water in it, stand the cell up in the bucket, and as you look through, you're going to see vertical blades, kind of like a car radiator. They're metal, and if the cell is dirty, you'll see this white calcium buildup on them. What you'll do is run a 4-to-1 dilution of muriatic acid through the cell to dissolve that calcium, and then it's clean. After that, we have a green flow light. If that light is red, it could mean a few things. It could mean that your filter is dirty and needs to be backwashed or cleaned and it's not seeing the proper amount of flow. It could mean that the pump has lost prime. Or it could mean that the system is off. So we always want a green flow light. That red light is another indicator of an issue. After that, we have sanitizer output. These lights go in increments of 20%. So you can see that this one is 4 lights, so it's running at 80% production. What that means is that 80% of the time that the cell is operating, it's generating chlorine. That number needs to be adjusted seasonally. In the summer, it's hot, there's a higher bather load. We need more chlorine in the pool, a 3 to 5 part per million. So we need to run this at a higher output level. In the spring and fall, we don't need as much chlorine. There's not as much sun beating down on the pool, there's not a high bather load, so we can run a lower production level, perhaps 20-30%. What we recommend is once you find those numbers, take a Sharpie and write them in your panel or write them down somewhere so that you know summer 80% production to get the chlorine you need, and then once it gets cooler, you may need to turn it down 20, 30, whatever the percentage is, to lower that chlorine level in the pool.